Good morning, one and all. I thank everyone for being here with us today. I welcome all the students across our great nation. I am Professor Anupam, your event host and moderator. Let me take you through the process of how we will conduct the webinar today. Our guest will address the batch for 90 minutes. First 80 minutes will be the knowledge sharing session, and last 10 minutes will be the questions and answers. Students are encouraged to put relevant questions related to the topic in the chat box. Today's session will be conducted by Ms. Sania Mane. She is the co-founder and trainer at AHA Outbound. Ma'am loves people, interacting with new faces, understanding the way they behave and their perspectives. She works with people and helps organizations skyrocket their sales, productivity, and performance through her high engaging and impactful experiential trainings and team building programs. She also guides students to become the perfect personal and professional fit for the chosen industry. She is a daughter to a global speaker and transformations coach. She grew up seeing her father deliver sales and marketing trainings, particularly in finance domain. That's when she realized that she is just like him. Ma'am's company AHA Outbound aims at transforming employees into leaders and decision makers. Some of the experiential approaches they use are art, adventure, and drama, and etc. Ms. Sania Mane has been instrumental in training over more than 2,000 corporate employees and over 1,500 plus students on team building, communication skills, change and conflict management, presentation skills, leadership skills. Some of their clients are Automotive Research Association of India, Fronius India, BNY Mellon, Suhana, also known as Praveen Masale, Ferrero India, Hyatt Regency, Eaton, Red Hat Linux, Willow Mather and Platt, SKF, Cyrus Vibrations, SKM Seatings, ZP District CEOs, Randak Fastness, Budway Engineering, Silver Eyes Beverages, Mitsop, Symbiosis Institute of Business Management Pune, Ajinkya DY Patil University College of Management, Zenzar Technologies, Sunny's Food, and the count is still on. I now request ma'am take over the session and share her teachings to our young minds. Ma'am, please.
Great. Thank you so much, Anupam sir, for this long introduction. I would just like to keep it very short and simple for our friends around here. I don't want to intimidate them at any level. So without any further ado, let's just right away start the session. So hello and good morning, everybody. Thank you so much once again, sir, for inviting me and for such a lovely introduction. It's great to have so many of y'all attend this session today, which is called Icebreaking and the Art of Introductions. So like I said, the session is all about icebreaking and the art of introductions. Sir has given an amazing introduction of myself, so let's not waste time into this. I just want to tell you that I'm going to keep the session extremely light, very fun, going to make it very relatable for all of you. So let's try to learn using a different approach, which I call as experiential learning. So what happens in experiential learning is that, we do a lot of activities, we play games, we have a lot of interaction. However, since here we are not interacting per se on a face-to-face level, I would want all of you, put your answers on the chat box, answer the polls, answer the quiz and all of that. So let's keep interacting with each other every now and then. So before we begin, I have a question for all of you. We've been into the lockdown for over a year and a half now. We've been staying indoors. We have developed maybe some new hobbies. Some of us have become chefs. Some of us are learning music. Some of us have resorted to gardening, to getting new plants. Some of us probably got a new pet. So this is what kept us busy all this, times during the pandemic. However, there is one thing that all of us did, ekdam bhar ke kiya sabne, that was binge watch every series on the face of the earth. So let's start on that note. I know all of us have binge watched quite a lot of series and movies. So everybody on the chat bar, yes, if you have seen a lot of web series and movies in the lockdown, and N if you have not. So N or Y, come on, let's flood the chat box. Okay, come on, I want more of you all to interact. Yes, yes, yes. Very good, very good. Not a single N till now. Great. Okay. So, since we've done all of this, let's do a activity before we actually start our topic for the day. So, here are going to be three questions. Again, I want you all to put your answers on the chat box. You need to put the right answer on the chat box. Okay. So, question number one: who's your favorite from Sacred Games? Nawazuddin ya Saif? So, you can either put G or you can put S. The protagonist or the antagonist? Okay. Sir says the antagonist. All right. Wow. Majority is Ganesh Gaitonde. Really? Nobody liked Saif Ali Khan. Okay. Okay, fair enough. So I think the majority stays with Nawazuddin Siddiqui. Okay, question number two. From the series Friends, which of these has two sisters? Monica or Rachel? You can put M or R as your answer in the chat box. Who has two sisters in the series Friends? M or R? Monica or Rachel? Who has two sisters? Okay, I know this is a little old for you guys, but come on. Dekha to hoga, friends. Okay, right. Some of you, yeah. So I think most of you have given right answers. Yes, Rachel had two sisters. Okay. Now, next question. I'm sure all of you will relate to this. I'm going to say out a dialogue and you need to tell me whose dialogue is this. Okay, so the dialogue goes, व्यापार हमारे हिसाब से नहीं चलता, हम व्यापार के हिसाब से चलते हैं. Whose dialogue is this? Okay, this is from Mirzapur. Who says this dialogue? Kalin Bhaiya. Perfect. Yes. All right. So, ये तो हो गया अभी थोड़ा MCQ type का. Let's yes, keep the questions, keep the answers coming in. Very good. Keep flooding the chat box, right? So ये तो हो गया MCQ type का. Now let's do something else. I want you to give an answer. Now this can be a little descriptive. So if you were to wake up tomorrow as a character from any movie or a sitcom or a web series, who would you want to be? You need not write a very long answer. It can be so. For example, I would want to wake up as Chandler because I really like his sarcasm. So you can just put Chandler slash sarcasm. So in your case, who would it be and why? Come on. Okay, somebody says Harry Potter. From Harry Potter, okay, Hermione, John Wick. All right. I want to know why, not just the names. What is that quality or what is that characteristic of that character that makes you want to be like them? Iron Man for his technology. Okay. Very nice. What else? Come on यार, इतने सारे movies और series तो देखे ही होंगे आप लोगों ने. Pablo Escobar. Okay. Interesting. Great. So, very good. So what did we just do? Since we've been talking about all these series and movies and web series and everything falana falana. What did we do? We don't know each other, and you guys are expected to sit through the entire 90-minute session from a person who you've never seen, who you've not known anything about. And so yeah, it is such an amazing weather out there, and you must be thinking, यार क्या ही ये बैठा दिया ऑनलाइन सेशन के लिए, हम लोग को रोज उठ के कुछ ना कुछ ऑनलाइन चलता ही रहता है. So I know that you must have had all these thoughts in your mind. Trust me, I've been in your place. I'm not very older to you, so I can absolutely relate to you guys कि exactly क्या चल रहा होगा तुम लोग के दिमाग में. But the reason I chose this topic or these questions to begin today's session is because I want to catch your attention. I want to warm up the conversation between all of us, because we don't know each other, yet we want to find a common thread where we can relate, where we can start a conversation on. And this exactly is what is we're going to talk about in this session. Had I started the session with right away telling you about the different jargons and fundas of the world, probably आप लोग आपका फोन या लैपटॉप चालू रख के बोलेंगे कि यार चलो मैं एक चक्कर काट के आता हूँ. And today, especially when we are in this world of this kind of social media where the attention span of humans is going reducing day by day. We don't even have the time to watch entire videos. We'd rather go and watch a Instagram reel or a story which does not last for more than 30 seconds. So when all of this is happening, it becomes very, very necessary for me or even for you. When you're starting a conversation with a new person, you need to hook them on to you in the first 2 or 3 minutes of your conversation. And that is exactly what is ice breaking. So what we just did is break the ice, which means that I tried to connect with you all. I tried to find out a common topic that's trending these days and tried not to intimidate you. So what exactly is ice breaking, and why do you need it? What exactly is an icebreaker? So an icebreaker is an activity or a topic of conversation or a game or a puzzle or a quiz that one does when they want to start a conversation with somebody else on a lighter note, wherein you are wanting to catch the attention of your listeners. Now, these icebreakers could be used as, for warming up the conversation, welcoming people, attendees in a class, training, meeting. So it is basically used to break down any kinds of barriers or inhibitions that either of the people involved in that conversations might be coming in. So now these icebreakers, they work best when people are unknown to each other, when they don't know anything about each other. However, these icebreakers work really well. They work wonders even if you're in a room of people who you already know. And they can also be helpful to get to bring you guys together as a team, to laugh, to chat. Now, all of you must have, I'm sure, at least heard of this series called The Big Bang Theory, right? So the series talks about it talks about nerds or scientists or a group of scientists who try to maneuver their way through life dealing with normal people like you and I. So I'm going to show you a video from that particular series. The video is about how the two lead characters from our series, that is Sheldon and Leonard, they are living in a building, and they come home and they see that they've got a new neighbor. And they try to have a conversation, they try to introduce themselves to this really attractive neighbor. So let's see how it goes and how they try to break ice or introduce themselves to this neighbor of theirs. Sir, can we have the first video, please?
Are you still mad about the sperm bank?
No.
You want to hear an interesting thing about stairs?
Not really.
If the height of a single step is off by as little as 2 millimeters, most people will trip.
I don't care. 2 millimeters? That doesn't seem right.
No, it's true. I did a series of experiments when I was 12. My father broke his clavicle.
Is that why they sent you to boarding school?
No, that was a result of my work with lasers.
New neighbor?
Evidently.
Significant improvement over the old neighbor.
200-pound transvestite with a skin condition? Yes, she is.
Oh, hi.
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 We don't mean to interrupt. We live across the hall.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, no, we don't live together. I mean, we live together, but in separate heterosexual bedrooms.
Oh, okay, well, guess I'm your new neighbor, Penny.
Oh, Leonard, Sheldon.
Hi.
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 Hi. Well, welcome to the building.
Oh, thank you. Maybe we can have coffee sometime.
Oh, great.
Great.
Great. Well, bye.
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 Bye. Should we have invited her for lunch?
No.
Yeah. So what just happened? What did we see up there? We saw ice breaking in two formats. So there were two types of icebreakers that happened here. First was when the two guys were just climbing up the stairs and they needed something to break the awkward silence, just to fill in that gap until they reached home. And the second icebreaker happened when they saw a new person live across the hall, and they wanted to say hi, introduce themselves to the neighbor. So icebreakers could be used for people who you don't know and with people who you know, but you want to fill in any kind of a silence, or those typical awkward silences that might occur even when you're in a room of people who you already know, right? So why do we need them? Why do we have to use icebreakers per se? So this is where we actually start our session today, right? So first of all, we need to warm up conversations. So icebreakers can be fun in knowing each other. They could be topics of interest, your likes, dislikes. It could be common things, greetings, just asking people how you are, where are you from, how have you been, how have you, sailed through life till date. So that these could be a little bit of warm up, fun kind of icebreakers. Then the second type of icebreakers are used to improve efficiency. Now, improving efficiency could be in terms of, it could be used in your class. It could be used as one of the sessions of a subject that you're learning. It could be used in offices if you're in for maybe a brainstorming activity, if your boss wants to maybe, shout at you for some reason, but then they don't even want to make the session look very, very serious and very awkward. So you can probably start with an ice-breaking activity, start on a lighter note, and then probably head towards the topic of the session. So it could be a good conversation starter or a session opener. And the third way in which, or the third reason why we really need icebreakers is because you need to prove your point, or you need to reinforce the point that you've been trying to make. So maybe to speak about the purpose of the session or an activity to explore or improve the work or working relationships between people, evaluating a point. It could be closing a serious session on a lighter note, or just the way we did today. I knew that we are going to have a session on ice breaking. So I thought, what better way to break ice with people your age, and something that all of us have been doing is binge watching on different OTT platforms. So that's how you tend to tweak or utilize different icebreakers in different situations. Now, once your college starts, you will be with a number of new faces, a lot of new people that you will interact with, new individuals. You will find new friends, new roommates, new faculty, different set of seniors. And even though all of us are still in an online situation, you will have to break ice with your fellow batchmates, even if it's on a virtual level. So how do you go about doing that? How do you strike a conversation with a new person, with somebody who you don't know about? So especially when it comes to your batchmates, you can start off on a very light note, as easy as asking them how their hobbies are, how do they indulge in different things, how did they spend their time during the lockdown. You can ask them what are their favorite books, the kind of food that they like, the kind of beverages that they prefer, what are their favorite sports, the instruments, the kind of music they like to listen to. So these are some really easy peasy going topics which will help you start a conversation with your fellow batchmates. Then, of course, like we spoke today, you can ask them which are the documentaries that they've seen, which are the content creators that they follow, which is the I would say category of the genre of content that they like to see. So this is something which will start off your friendship on a very light note, and you can always understand that, okay, this is my kind of a person. We can do these things together. We can probably go watch a movie from this genre whenever it comes up, and we can enjoy that together. So this is how you can start breaking ice with your batchmates. You can probably ask them about their goals, their aspirations, their career choices, their achievements till date. What is the specialization that they're looking forward to in the last semester or the last year. So this is again something, so if you have two people, if you know somebody that, yes, that even this person is going to have their majors in marketing, then probably you guys can start working together towards achieving a common goal since day one, or probably the semester one of your course. And then you can always ask them random questions. Who would you rather be? What would you rather choose? If not PGDM, what is it that you would be doing today? If you hadn't got admission here, which other college would you be looking for? If you weren't living in this town, which is the town that you would be looking forward to? So those kind of things. These could be really weird, random questions. They could be really, really funny questions, because who doesn't like to connect with each other by sharing a laugh, right? So this can be a very light heartening conversation starter to start with your fellow batchmates. So this was very easy till here, but now that you've got to start a conversation with somebody senior, this is where you need to start paying a little attention to what you're trying to say, how your question or the way you are communicating is going to be perceived by the other person, right? So what is that one dialogue that you would like to open that conversation with? Now, instead of me telling you, of course, I will be giving you a few points, but I want you guys to tell me that how will you break ice with somebody who's senior to you. Say, for example, you have a chief guest in your college, and you are asked to escort this sir or this madam throughout your entire campus. If you were to break ice with somebody senior, how would you do that? I want you all to put your answers on the chat box. So somebody says that we need to greet the other person. Okay, can you elaborate? How will you greet the other person? Come on, it's not that difficult. How was your journey? Okay, very good. You ask them about their journey. You ask them how have they been? Are they keeping well? Okay. What else? How are you? How was your day? All right. What else? What else? Come on, think a little out of the box. Ye to ho gaya. You need to say something that the other person should remember you. Your question should be something really thoughtful. Okay, let's look at different things that we can do. Okay, so you can probably tell them that you've heard a lot about them, that you're honored to have met them, and probably you can ask them about their life story, or what is the definition of success according to them. Of course, this will come after you ask them that, how are you? I hope you had a safe and a comfortable journey. I hope you've had your tea, breakfast, whatever. And then once so these people are somebody who really like to answer intellectual questions, right? So when you're meeting with someone when you're indulging in a formal conversation, you're in a very, very formal setting, and this person comes from a very, very high stature, you need to ask them a little bit of intellectual questions, right? So somebody says that starting with a formal introduction and then talk to them that you know them by prior research and relating it to yourself and extending the conversation. Excellent. This is the kind of answer that I am looking at. So you read about them. We'll come to that. How do you do a research about the person that you are trying to meet? So you can start with asking them about their life story, the definition of success according to them. How do they measure success? What gives them the maximum amount of happiness? You can ask them what inspires or motivates them the most. You can always, tell them that, sir, we look up to you as an inspiration. Your work motivates us. But what is it that inspires you the most? Where do you find your inspiration from? Then you can ask them that, since they come from a very high stature, like I mentioned earlier, and of course the person ought to be busy. So you can ask them that what do they do in their free time, if at all they have any free time. What do they like to indulge in? What are the kinds of hobbies that they practice? Okay, now this is interesting. What and how can you learn from them? So always think that if you're meeting somebody senior, if you're meeting somebody really big, you always need to think that is there in any way what is it that you can learn from them, or how is it that you can learn more about them or from them. So now you can ask them that, do they have any have they written a book? Ideally, you should do this research, but you can always ask them that is there any interview that's published which will help me read more about you, your work, your company, your organization. Can I connect with you maybe over LinkedIn or Twitter? Can I follow you? I would really like to know how your life is, how you look at things, the kind of perspective that you share about different things in the world. So you can always ask them that, sir or ma'am, I would definitely like to learn more about you. Is there in any way that I can be in touch with you? Any books, any self-help books that you can recommend us as students that we can that will help us in our progress. So these are a few things on how you can learn from these people. And the most classic question is, what are the future trends in their industry according to them? So if when you ask these questions, they will automatically understand that yes, you have done a good amount of research about them, the kind of background that they come from. And these can be very simple questions. Yeah, if you're meeting somebody from the, say, manufacturing sector, you can ask them a question like, so what do you think of the whole automation process? Do you think that machines or robots will completely replace human interventions or human interference? So such questions, when you ask such questions to somebody senior or of a person of that level, his or her way of looking at you automatically changes. They understand that yes, you are a well-read person. You understand what's going on in the world. You understand what's happening around you, and you come with a very, very futuristic approach. So this is where this is what is going to help you stay alive or be there in the mind of the other person. So whenever you're trying to break ice, look at the situation that you are in. Look at the person that with whom you're trying to interact with. So if it's with a friend, you can keep it very casual. Somebody who's of your age, you can be absolutely casual, fun, interactive. But when you're talking to somebody senior, you can always go for a little bit of an intellectual conversation to begin with them. However, when you are trying to break ice with anybody, be it somebody of your age or somebody senior, there are a few things that you need to keep in mind. First of all is no personal questions. Avoid asking them about their family, their salary, their orientation. There might be somebody that, okay, this person has a family business, but try to avoid asking personal questions because you don't know how their interpersonal relationships are within the family, right? And day by day, it's becoming all the more difficult to gauge what's really happening inside and what is seen on social media or newspapers or on TV channels, right? So try to avoid any kind of personal questions whatsoever. Second most important thing is avoid religious or political views. Always open with neutral topics. Make sure that you don't hurt anybody's sentiments. Don't talk about religion, caste, political preferences. Don't. And even if such topics come up during a conversation, it is your responsibility that you portray yourself to be extremely neutral, because you never know what the other person could react or the way they can take your opinion. So especially when you're interacting with somebody for the first time and you don't know the other person very well, always stay neutral in your opinions, especially about such sensitive topics. Second is be sensible. Like I said, gauge the situation, understand the title, hierarchy of the person that you're talking to, his background, his positioning in the society, the decorum of the event that you are meeting that person in. So all of this, you need to put in a lot of thought. You need to be very, very sensible when you are trying to strike a conversation with somebody. And the most important thing is be alert. If you are trying to break ice with somebody using a particular topic, make sure that you are well aware of that topic. So it is very important that you bring up topics of conversation only those which you are aware about and which you are confident about having a conversation. नहीं तो ऐसे हो गया, कुछ तो आपने टॉपिक निकाल दिया, the other person says something and then you're blank, right? So always try to strike conversations on topics which you are completely aware, confident about, right? So this was a little bit about breaking ice and start having that first impression, so to say, on a particular person. Okay, now abhi chalo, abhi ice breaking to ho gaya. Now we come to a part where you need to introduce the other person, right? So the ice breaking is initiated, you've started a conversation. Now once you're into a conversation, the most important thing is introducing yourself, right? And that's the second part of our today's session. So according to a Harvard Business Review, it is said that, it states that there are about 7 out of 10 people who get extremely stressed, who get cold feet when they're asked to introduce themselves. So let me ask you a question. Is it really that difficult to introduce yourself? You guys must be what now? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, right? So with say an average of 20 years of your life, it's highly essential, or I would say imperative, that you know who you are. And introducing yourself in different situations is something that you learn by experience. I know a few people who get cold feet, who are absolutely stressed even when they are asked to introduce themselves, even in a group of 5 or 6 people. Say you're going for a hiking or a trekking expedition and you are in a group of say 10 or 12 people. So the first thing that these guys do is before you actually start your hike, you guys are made to stand in a circle and you guys are supposed to introduce yourself. So there are a few people who who start fidgeting with their hands, who don't know how to introduce themselves. They just say that, okay, my name is so and so and I'm from this place. So is that your identity? Is your name and your hometown your identity, or is there something more to you, right? So there's definitely a lot more to you. And so let's look at how to make great introductions. We'll take a look at it step by step. It's not rocket science. It's absolutely easy, but yes, it takes time and effort to perfect your introduction. Okay. So, okay, what does this picture tell you about? Quickly on the chat bar, who are these people? What is that one common thread that binds these people together? Come on, it's not so difficult, especially for the boys in the class. Who are these people? I'm sure you might not recognize the first two, but the last two, yes, definitely. 007, that's James Bond, right? So when we are talking about introductions, there is right from the 70s, something that has made a sensation was 007, that is James Bond. And this, his unique way of introducing himself became more of a style statement and is seen in Bond movies even after decades, even today, right? So sir, can we have the second video, please?
My name is Bond.
Bond. Bond. Bond.
Bond.
Bond.
James Bond.
Right. So what happened here is he just uses 3 words, Bond, James Bond. However, he makes it look so iconic and with so much of a style and so much of a panache that just these 3 words were enough to to talk about his personality, the kind of body language he carries, the style in which he gives out his name. This itself was enough for people to recognize him or to know him. However, imagine me saying my name in that way, right? So my name is Mane, Sania Mane. I mean, people will laugh at me. Come on, you cannot have these things today in the 21st century. Or then you need to have a personality, a body language, that style and everything, that poise like James Bond. And then you need to do that kind of a work. When you can just hold a gun in your hand and say that, okay, my name is Bond, James Bond. Right, so that was one way of doing things back in the time, but things started changing. Then in the 80s and 90s, we were ruled by ek se badkar ek introductions of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. Now, what he did here was he added a few lines like a prelude to his name, which people remembered, so it became something like a memory hook. So earlier, what we saw was James Bond just used his name. Now, what Mr. Amitabh Bachchan did is he added a few lines to his introduction. So it became more of a descriptive introduction, wherein he says, be it his iconic "Rishte mein to hum tumhare baap lagte hai, naam hai Shahenshah," or the amazing dialogue from the movie Agnipath. Where he tells his name, his maa ka naam, his baap ka naam, the gaon that he comes from, his umar, everything, right? So this went on to become a style statement. People started using it in casual conversations, and the same dialogue was used in the remake of the Agnipath movie, which just came a few years back. So again, the impact stayed for over 20 years, right? He also went on to the extent of making a song about his introduction. The song goes like, "My name is Anthony Gonsalves, main duniya mein akela hu," and blah 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 blah. Right? So what these people did is they created iconic introductions, which even though we don't use today, it stays in our mind. It gives us a reason to remember them by, and that's exactly what great introductions are all about. As long as the introduction stays put in the other person's mind, your job is done and you've done a great introduction. So this was a little bit from the past. Let's come to present day. The great Khaleesi from the Game of Thrones. So how many of you actually remember her introductions? So what happened is, since this is the most recent introductory bit that I can relate to, let's take a look at this, and then we'll see what is the takeaway or what is the impact that this video creates. So, sir, can we please have the third video? Yeah.
You stand in the presence of Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, rightful heir to the Iron Throne, rightful Queen of the Andals and the First Men, protector of the Seven Kingdoms, the Mother of Dragons, the Khaleesi of the Great Grass Sea, the Unburnt, the Breaker of Chains.
This is Jon Snow. He's king in the north.
Thank you for traveling so far, my lord.
So, did you notice the body language of the guest of Jon Snow who comes visit the Khaleesi or the Queen of Dragons, right? His body language, he was dumbfounded, he was awestruck, he didn't know what to say, he was confused, he was put to thinking. So that's the kind of impact you need to have on your audience when you are making an introduction. It has to be compelling, it has to be authentic, and it has to be unique. It has to be something that your audience, the people around you, will remember you for, right? So that's how your introduction be. You should introduce yourself in a way that will make you unforgettable. Of course, in a good way. So how will you do that? What is a great introduction? Is it something just about using jargons and using a lot of flowery words about yourself, or is it just cutting through a chit chat when you're surrounded by people? Definitely not. So you need to introduce yourself in a way that talks a lot about you, that describes you as a person, as a human being, as one unique being on this earth, right? So that's exactly how your introduction should be. So now when you are asked to introduce yourself, it could either be an oral introduction or it could be a written introduction. So let's take a look at it one by one. But before we start crafting our introductions, you need to understand that it is going to take time. It is not going to be easy. Okay, it is going to take a little bit of time and effort. But we also need to understand that the world is changing rapidly. It is changing in ways we absolutely cannot anticipate. And that's why it becomes even more essential to know what sets you apart from the rest of your pack, right? And the sooner you realize this, the better it is for you. And hence it becomes absolutely essential to have a killer introduction of yourself, if I have to say it in your lingo, right? So, but before we start crafting introductions, here are a few points that you need to keep in mind. Number one is you need to know your audience. Who are you introducing yourself to? Is it a friend? Is it a faculty? Is it a prospective employer where you are trying to get an internship? Is it somewhere? Is it a college club where you're wanting to present yourself? You want to join a particular club or a group, or is it simply a girl that you have a massive crush on and you want to impress her? Right. So you need to know your audience. Whom are you introducing yourself? Second is, what is the impact that you want to create on the on your audience? Do you want to make friends with them? Do you want to portray yourself that you are a very helping person? You are of a very empathetic nature. You want an internship. You want to, like I said, you want an approval for something, or do you want to just ask somebody out on a date? What is the impact that you want to create? Number three, you need to know your surroundings. Are you introducing yourself in front of 50 other people from a stage? Are you in a classroom, or are you in a cafe or a restaurant or in a mall or a movie theater, right? So you need to understand what surroundings you are in and then craft your introduction. And the fourth most important thing is know your time. Decide how much you want to talk about yourself. So, for example, if you are giving a presentation and the presentation is of 30 minutes or 10 minutes, आप आपका खुद का introduction ही दे रहे हो, then you've lost your audience there. The audience does not have the patience to listen to so much about somebody else, right? They want to know what's in it for them. Why are they here for that presentation? What is that one takeaway for them from this entire session or that entire experience? अगर आप डेट पे जा रहे हो और लड़की को खुद के बारे में ही बताते जा रहे हो, she's going to walk off, guys. Nobody is so interested in listening only about the other person. Everybody wants to talk about themselves as well. So you need to understand कि आप खुद के बारे में कितना टाइम बोलने वाले हो, right? So yeah, so these are a few things that you need to understand. And now that you have written down on paper or you've jotted down that, okay, this is where I am and this is where I have to introduce myself. This is the impact that I want to create, and I have, say, a minute and a half to talk about myself. Then once you have this skeleton in place, then you start making your introduction. So I'm going to give you some tips so that whenever somebody asks you next time कि बेटा आप करते क्या हो, you end up saying a little bit more than मैं MBA कर रहा हूँ और मैं PGDM कर रहा हूँ, right? There is a lot more to you than what you are currently pursuing, right? So here are a few tips on how to give a great introduction. So let's take a look at them one after the other. Number one, you need to go beyond your name and qualification. So the first thing you need to figure out is who you really are. What is it that you would like to be known for? Would you like to be known as somebody who speaks really well, somebody who's really smart, somebody who has great English, somebody who is who is talking more about doing good for others. What is it that you want others to know you for, right? So you need to find out. I know it is a little bit of a tricky question and an uncomfortable question, but this is needed for you to get out of your comfort zone. And trust me, once you find out who you actually are, it's going to be much easier for other people also to relate with you. So for example, I want to tell somebody that I am a journalist. So if somebody asks me ki beta aap kya karte ho, I'll say I'm a journalist. This can be one way of putting it, or the other way of putting it is the world is an overwhelming place, and so I help people connect to each other by telling stories as a journalist. Which one did you like better? The straight one or a little bit of a descriptive one? Now what happened in the descriptive one is you tell people that yes, I am a journalist, but you also tell them why are you a journalist or what do you exactly do being a journalist, right? So this is what you need to figure out for yourself. Point number 2, what is it that makes you unique, right? Talk about problems that only you can solve. I think each one of us here is a problem solver, essentially in some way or the other. So you need to figure out that what sets you apart from the clutter. Now, if you are unable to find these things out for yourself, you can always ask your friends for input. I understand that it is often hard for people to see what they themselves are good at because it comes very naturally to you. So you don't value it, that you're really good at it because you don't have to take any extra efforts in doing it. So if you're having a tough time finding out your talent or identifying what you are really good at, I'd suggest take help of your family and friends. Ask them that what is it that I really am good at, and probably I am unaware that it is really special. So have a conversation with your friends and family, and I'm sure people who know you really well will be able to give you at least 2 or 3 such skills that you absolutely excel at. Then the 4th one. So hashtag TBT, it's Thursday today, hashtag Throwback Thursday. I know a lot of you will be posting pictures on different social medias using this particular hashtag. But let's keep that aside for a bit and let's talk about hashtag TBC. So what's TBC is throwback to your childhood. Go back, get into a time machine, go back to your childhood and try to think what was it that you were really good at when you were maybe 8 or 10 years old. What was that one special skill that you had that time? So it is very, very likely that that particular skill is still with you today. Okay. For example, if you were great at remembering roads even as a child, which meant that you had great sense of direction. So why not translate that skill into something that you can make a career out of? So maybe I would suggest that if you were really good at having a good sense of direction, you can probably use it in visualizing 3D maps for architectural softwares or maybe designing transportation systems. It could be anything. So just go back to your childhood, find out what you were really good at, and I'm sure you still will have that skill and you will be able to utilize that skill of yours even today. Point number 5 is be slightly vulnerable. Show a little bit of your softer side to the people around you. I understand that finding, right connects, finding best people, best friends who connect with you at the same wavelength can be a little elusive and difficult in the beginning, especially when you're dealing with a new set of people. But try to use maybe phrases in your opening remarks like, I'm really passionate about organic farming. I really want to do something for the society. I want to do something in the education sector. I want to help kids from a particular section of the society who are probably not as lucky as us to have such an amazing education. or probably I'm extremely excited to go to Pune because it has an amazing weather, and I know that city is a best of it's a best mix of everything that a city should have. So tell something that excites you, that you are really passionate about. Let that emotional side of you also come out once in a while, because that is where people like you will connect with you. Right, so it's not really necessary to be all uptight and straight faced every single time. Okay. Next is gather feedback. So after you have crafted your introduction, try using that introduction with people you know. Maybe you write down an introduction of yourself and try introducing using the same set of words, the same tone that you have imagined, with a set of people who already know you. Maybe practice this with maybe 5 or 7 people. Give them a week's time. Go back to them after a week and ask them, what do you remember from my introduction? If they don't remember anything, then you've got your answer. Then you probably need to work a little more on your introduction, because at the end of the day, you want the other person to remember you by that, right? And if yes, they tell you that, okay, this is what stayed in my mind even after a week that you told me this introduction of yours, then you need to think that, okay, you need to use more of such points in your introduction, so that they remember you for a few more things than just one thing that stayed in your mind. So keep tweaking your introductions as in how the scenarios around you change. Then comes practice. There is no alternative to it. You need to keep reiterating, reviving, reviewing your introduction, and all the more important, you need to keep practicing it. And the last most important thing is, don't ever go back to the same old intro. Keep changing it as per the situation. Keep improvising it according to your experiences. And there are always going to be some state people in a group who will be confused if you're giving a little bit of a swanky introduction. Let them be confused. For them, you can always go back to saying, my name is Disha Verma and I am studying at Indus Business School. So for such people, you can always fall back on the typical one-liner introduction. But yeah, there is actually no harm in experimenting with it. And trust me, there are very few people left in this world now who want to listen to the typical same old boring introductions. Everybody wants something new. Just like you and I, we want to consume new and interesting content every single day. It's the same in the professional world also out there. Everybody wants variety, and everybody wants to listen to something interesting and something to ponder upon. So if you just stick by these 8 points, I'm sure this is going to help you in curate a great introduction. However, you might not always have the time to give a long and a descriptive introduction. So for example, in your introduction or your induction program in the college, imagine that there are 100 students and everybody starts giving an introduction of 7 to 8 minutes. By the time 7-8 logo ka ho jaye, everybody is going to lose interest in listening to what the other person has to say. So in such cases, you need to have a very short and a very crisp introduction of yourself, which will create the same optimum impact, right? So which we call as an elevator pitch. So what's an elevator pitch? It is the same introduction of yourself. However, it is crunched down to maybe 30 or maximum of 45 seconds. So it should primarily answer 3 questions. Let's take a look at these 3 questions and what should be the content of these 3 questions. So first, the introduction, your pitch should answer, who are you? It could be your name, probably your hometown, but you are not supposed to spend more than 5 seconds under this domain or under this question, okay? Simple, your name and where are you coming from. Second is, what is your credibility? What are your qualifications, your achievements, your strengths? Have you won any awards, any scholarships recently? What sets you apart? All of this, either of this, but bring it down to 15 seconds, not more than that. So that talks about your credibility, what sets you apart. And the third question is, why should anyone be friends with you? Here you can talk about your qualities. You can say that I'm a very empathetic person. I have helped so many people. I have maybe volunteered with an XYZ organization or whatever. How are you as a human being? Why should I want to be friends with you? Why should I would want to talk to you? This should be covered in like 10 seconds. So in about 30 to 45 seconds, you should make a very tight and a very crisp elevator pitch for yourself. Okay. Now, of course, this elevator pitch of yours will differ. Definitely, it will differ when you go in for a job interview, or if you're going for a networking event, or if you are really sharing an elevator with somebody influential. But we'll see that some other time. Right now, let's focus on what is necessary for you to be a student of PGDM for the next 2 years. Right. So this is about making an elevator pitch. Now coming to written introductions. So what all we saw right now were oral introductions. Now coming to written introductions, henceforth you will have many instances where you will be asked this one question, wherein there'll be a box, there'll be a long box for you to write something about yourself. And this is actually going to take a lot of time of yours whenever you are filling out maybe a college application form. So this is where you need to mention that why should you be eligible to get admission? Why should you be chosen over maybe 1,000 other applicants, right? So this is where you absolutely need to write something unique and something real about yourself. Okay, very real, nothing hypothetical. Secondly, you might be asked to email your introduction कि आपका profile भेज दो, या if you're applying for an internship, or maybe there's a photography club in your college and your seniors asked you to send an application email that if you want to join this photography club, send us your application and we'll see if we can put you in. Or if there's a startup club, so they will probably ask you ki, let us know why we should include you in this club or group of ours. So that's when again you will have to write something about yourself. Why should you be chosen over X number of people? And then comes your social media bios. And when I say your social media bios, I don't mean your Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Tinder, Bumble bios. Okay. On all these places, it is okay. It is very cool to call yourself a hashtag dreamer or hashtag traveler, hashtag foodie, first cry on 17th June, rasode mein main hi thi, or how you doing, and all those fancy words and these things from the TV and the OTT platforms. I am talking about serious bios where you are introducing yourself to the world. I'm talking about platforms like it could be LinkedIn, or it could be Meetup, or it could be Jobcase, or similar such platforms. Let me tell you that these bios and what eventually write in your CVs maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, it is going to be different. Definitely. We'll see that maybe towards the end of your second year if we have a session like this then. But right now what we need to focus on is how do you need to portray yourself as a management student. Okay. So let's take a look and as how to focus on what you're doing right now, what you will be doing in the next 2 years, and how you should portray yourself or how you should introduce yourself when you're writing an introduction of your own. Okay. Now all standard rules, like I mentioned earlier, for the oral introductions are absolutely applicable here as well. You need to go beyond a certain, I would say, beyond your name, your qualification. You need to mention your USP. You need to get your inputs and feedback from the people around you, get it checked, get it double checked. But apart from that, again, when you're writing your introductions, there are few more things that you need to that we need to focus on. Okay, so tip number one, you need to know your purpose. Where, what, and why are you writing this introduction for? Is it for your college admission? Is it for an internship application? Is it for your LinkedIn bio? Is it for maybe applying for a group? Is it for so a lot of colleges have these posts wherein there are class representatives or your batch representatives or your GRs, your general GRs, your general secretary of the college. So understand what is the purpose of the introduction that you're writing or you're applying for. Second, tell your story. Everybody likes to read life stories. So tell your story. So if you've paid attention to my introduction, which sir was reading out, I've wrote about what is the background that I come from. Of course, I've grown up listening to my father give sales and marketing speeches and trainings, and that's something that has trickled down into me as well. What is it? What is the baggage that I carry? What is the background that I come up with? What are my educational qualifications? What are my strengths? How do I encash on different opportunities? So everybody likes to know your story. It need not be an Indian Idol kind of a story that, I come from a very, very humble background. I've had a lot of challenges in life. Yes, if you really have faced a lot of challenges in life, definitely talk about it. But always keep in mind what you write is something that is going on an open source. People are going to double check it. So if you write in your bio just to gain sympathy that I come from a very humble background and I've done odd jobs to pay for my education and this and that, and then on your Instagram profile you're posting pictures of holidaying in Paris and London and all of that, it does not make sense. So tell your story as authentic and as real as it is. And it should come straight from your heart. It should not be a very scripted. You should not hire a content writer to write your story. It's your story. Nobody can tell it better than you, right? So please tell your stories when you are writing your introductions. Number 3, elaborate on your achievements. Whatever you've achieved till date, it could be as small as achieving a school level, I would say bronze medal in athletics or a swimming championship or whatever it is. Always talk about what you have achieved in life. It could be like I said, you've stood first in a race, you have you've gotten a scholarship, you have been, you stood first in your city, in your district, in the 12th boards. It could be anything. But this is the time when you boast about yourself, because the other person has asked for a written introduction. He expects you to give a nice brief description, because he has the reason he has asked for a written introduction is that he has the time to go through your story. So elaborate on your achievements. Number 4, any life-changing experience. It could be anything. It need not be related to the kind of post that you're applying for. It could be anything. So for example, in my case, I always tell people that I used to take life absolutely seriously. I used to, push things ki, kal karenge, parso karenge, dekh lenge, agle hafte karenge. Until about 3 years back, I had an accident, and it was absolutely a near-death experience for me. And I did not know that if I'm going to be alive tomorrow. And fortunately, I'm right here, all okay. But that's what made me, that was a life-changing experience for me, that I should do the things what I'm supposed to. I should do it today. If I'm supposed to call up a friend, I should do it today itself. Don't keep pushing things to do it for later. So this was my life-changing experience, something that I learned in my life. So you must have had such life-changing experiences in your day-to-day activities as well. So try to talk more about those. Try to tell people that you are a very, very sensitive and a sensible person who is affected by the things that are going around you. right? So you are not a cold person. People don't really like to mingle a lot with people who are absolutely cold. So show them that empathetic or that emotional side of yours. Then opening with a quote. This is a very good idea, though this is very common, but it's a good idea to open with a quote that you relate to. It could be a quote from a person that inspires you. It could be a cricketer or whatever it is. It's always a good idea to open with a quote. Then, like I said earlier, what is that one problem which only you can solve? What is your USP? What is your unique selling proposition? Talk about that. What makes you unique? Make your introduction absolutely interesting and impactful and engaging at the same time. Okay, people should not get bored of reading about you. Okay, they should look forward to, okay, abhi next paragraph mein kya aayega, next page pe kya aayega. So make it very, very interesting, but again, don't go beyond the truth. Then check your grammar. We have a lot of softwares or applications available today. Download Grammarly, the free version. It's absolutely amazing. Whenever you're writing an email or submitting anything in a written format, always get your grammar checked, get your punctuation checked, get a spell check, because people judge you on the basis of this. If you have not paid attention to what you are writing, then people will say, yaar ye khud ke introduction पे इसने ध्यान नहीं दिया है, ये क्या आके इधर काम करेगा, और what value will he or she add to the organization, right? So these small things matter a lot, and keep a check on your word count. If they've asked you to write your bio or your introduction in 500 words, stick to, I would say, 489 or 490 words. It is very, very important, because after a point they will shut off. If they've told you to stick to 500 words, stick to 500 words and try to put your entire story in that particular number of characters or number of words. So this is something which will take you places. If you just follow these 10 tips, you will absolutely make great introductions, great written introductions. However, it might not always be the case that that you're always there alone with a person. So let me give you an example. Let's take this scenario. You are in a shopping mall with a friend of yours. You bump into a friend who's a childhood friend of yours. You get talking with them, and you start talking about your childhood stories, and this goes on and on and on for say 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Now imagine the plight of the friend who was already with you, who were actually here at the mall for a particular reason. What will that other person feel? He will definitely feel left out. He'll feel lost. Okay, so what is essential here is you need to introduce the other person as well, and not just focus on yourself. Okay, so I'm going to show you a small video here, and then we'll see how do you go about introducing others, or the video will tell you how others feel when you just go on and on and on and on about you and the person who you've just met. Okay, so sir, can we please have the video? Yeah.
Yes?
Hi. Is Rachel here? I'm her sister.
Oh my God, Jill!
Oh my God, Rachel!
Hi!
Oh my God, introduce us.
Well, this is Chandler.
Hi.
And you know Monica and Ross. And that's Phoebe, and that's...
So this is exactly going to be the reaction of the people around you if you don't introduce them. Okay, they'll be like, lost, kya chal raha hai idhar, hame bhi to batao. What is it? So what is that interesting thing that you are talking about? Okay, so introducing others becomes equally important when you're meeting somebody new, right? But how do you do that? Do you just say, have you met Ted, and go away and get on to your introduction? No, definitely not. There is a structured way in which you need to introduce others. There are a few ways in which you need to do this. So when it comes to introducing, two people, there are a few rules, or I would say social etiquettes, that you need to follow. Now, what are those? you need to always introduce younger people to older people. So, for example, if you want to introduce your, say, batchmate or your roommate, Nilesh, to a faculty, you will always say, Nilesh, meet Mr. Robinson. Or you will always introduce junior ranks to senior professionals. You will always introduce your family or your friends to your professors, that mom, please meet Professor Bakshi, or whatever it is, right? So always give optimum amount, the necessary amount of respect to the senior person or a person who comes from a higher stature. Now, when you're introducing them, highlight what makes them unique. So if you're introducing your friend to a chief guest, you'd say, Nilesh, you should meet Mr. Robinson. He's a world famous writer and a motivational speaker. But why are you introducing your friend Nilesh to the chief guest and not Suresh? Because Nilesh is somebody who is an aspiring author. So this is what you can tell the other person, that sir, this is a friend of mine, and he is also an aspiring author, and I think he can learn a few things from you if you can help him with a few tips. So showcase their accomplishments. Tell them that, like I said, he's an aspiring author and he likes to write fiction. Find out the common things, focus on the specifics. Tell them that, sir, I think if I'm not wrong, wasn't your first book also a science fiction? So think about what is the common thread in the two people that you are introducing. It will just make your friend or the younger person or the junior person be a little more confident and comfortable in front of the other person. Otherwise, if you just tell them that Nilesh, meet a world famous author and motivational speaker, Mr. Robinson, he is bound to get intimidated if you just end that introduction then and there, right? So you need to build up a little bit on it. You need to focus on their specifics. You need to know your people well. You need to know what your friend is good at. Pick up that one thing which will be a common thread between your friend and the person that you are introducing him or her to. Right? So find a common thread and start a conversation about using that particular aspect. Always remember, it is not about, it is about them and it is not about you. Okay. You need to focus on how these two people will benefit from each other, how these two people will get along with each other, and not about how you are so good to them and how the other person treats you like a son and how the other person treats you like a brother. Nobody is really interested in that. What they are here for, if they have asked you to introduce them to somebody else, either of the parties will be looking in that how are they going to be able to connect with that person. They are already connected to you. Aapka kaam ho chuka hai. Now what your job is to make the two of them comfortable with each other. So always remember, it's not about you, it's about those two people who are being introduced. And last and the most important point, no discrimination on the basis of gender, caste, religion, political views. Just stay away from that. Like I said, always keep your icebreakers and your introductions and your first impressions, your first interactions as neutral as possible, especially on such sensitive topics. So here are a few ways. अच्छा चलो अभी ठीक है, चलो कि आपका introduction तो हो गया, but what next? If you don't know how to respond, then the whole activity, the whole effort that your friend or somebody else is taking for you to introduce to them goes waste, is absolutely futile. So here are a few ways in which you can respond when you're being introduced. First of all, smile. It goes miles, trust me. Start with a smile. It should start with a genuine and a short and a simple interaction that, hi sir, how are you? It's a pleasure meeting you. Maybe repeat their name. It serves two purposes. It tells the other person that yes, you are paying attention, you've listened to their name, and it helps you also to remember your name. Otherwise, 5 minutes into the conversation and people are like, yaar, inka naam kya tha, main bhul gaya. Right? So just repeat their name. It will make them feel nice. Okay. make a brief comment about the person. It should be a very positive thing that, sir, I've always been a fan of yours. I've always wanted to meet you. It's a great pleasure. It's a great honor to finally see you in person. I cannot believe that I'm actually meeting you. It has always been my dream. So, these things go actually a long way. It makes that other person understand that, okay, this person has been looking up to us. But again, keep it very, very authentic. If you fake it, the other person is 100 times smarter than you. So he will understand that you are just saying it for the heck of it and you don't mean it. So say things that you mean it, that you actually mean. Another important thing, mind their title. If you are being introduced to them as Mr. XYZ or Miss XYZ, especially for females, this is extremely important. Do not, if you are not introduced to somebody as Mrs., always stick to Miss. Okay, that's a blunder which a lot of people do, and I don't want you guys to do that. For which it is very, very important that you guys listen carefully to the way the other person is being introduced, right? So these are a few things, and in the end comes confidence. You have to be confident. I know a lot of people get cold feet, get jitters in their stomach when they're meeting somebody new, when they're meeting somebody intimidating. But when you are actually talking to the other person, you have to show confidence. There is no option, no alternative than being confident when you're speaking to somebody. And the last thing is being well read. When you are meeting somebody, when you're being introduced to somebody, there are going to be times when you probably don't know who the other person is or what background do they come from. You probably just bump into them and you've had no time to do a research about them. So when you're meeting such people and when you are in such circumstances, in such situations, being well read will take you a long way, wherein you can actually have a conversation with them on any topic on the face of the earth. It could be cricket, it could be movies, it could be current affairs, it could be health, absolutely anything. So always being well read is an added advantage, especially when you are being when you are responding to a certain kind of introductions. So I would just like to tell you that always remember one thing: what you say about yourself will decide what others have to say about you. As long as you are honest, humble, confident, and you know who you really are, trust me, it's absolutely a cakewalk. Okay? You just have to be honest, humble, confident, and know who you really are. What you say about yourself will decide what others have to say about you. Always remember that, right? So just want to tell you that keep calm and introduce yourself. It's time to show the world who you really are, what you've got, and what you are capable of. So very simple, keep calm, follow the tips and go ahead, introduce yourself to the world. It's time to get out there and show the world what you've got. Thank you so much for being such an amazing audience. I am going to share a link in the chat box. It's a simple assessment, question and answers that we have drafted for you, just so that we can understand what your understanding has been through this entire session. And if you have any questions, any doubts, you can put it in there. And I think we have a session again on Monday, 21st of June at the same time. So we will be discussing all of your answers in that session. Whatever questions you have, put it in there and we will discuss it. So yeah, so sir has just put this link in the chat box. Kindly save it with all of you. The link is going to be active for the next 24 hours only. So make sure you fill this up today itself. And there are no right or wrong answers therein. We just want to understand how much you have gained out of this session, and we will help you. Of course, we've asked you to draft your introductions. I'll be going through all of those, and once you fill in that, we will help you to make your introductions even better, or maybe fine tune them to a greater extent. Yeah. So that's about it from me. I am done. I hope I have not bored you. It's a beautiful weather out here in Pune, and if that's the case in the rest of the cities too, I just hope कि यार लैपटॉप शुरू करके बच्चे गए नहीं है घूमने. So yeah, the assessment will speak for that. So yeah, that's about it from me, I guess. Over to you, sir. And if there are any questions, if you want me to answer them right away, you can put it in the chat box, or you can just fill in the assessment form. There is a place that I've given to ask your questions, and then we'll discuss this at length on Monday. So yeah, over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a ton for this lovely insight, and definitely all our students will understand what is the importance of first impression and how to introduce themselves, and they will definitely draft something good and break their head so that with times to come they'll be able to introduce themselves better in the right forum and the right way.
Great, awesome. I'm glad. I'm looking forward to the assessments, whatever these guys fill up. I think it'll be a great interaction on Monday to discuss and see what they've come up with.
Sure, ma'am. I'll just inform something to the students. Students, you will have to fill the feedback form on this link. So this link is for the feedback form. Your feedback is important. Please do that. Please note, this is Microsoft Office forms. In this, you have to fill the assessment part. I'm repeating. Please save both these links. One is the feedback link. Another is the assessment form link. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a ton.
Thank you so much, sir.
Everybody. Ma'am, we'll meet again.
Yes. Thank you so much. See you on Monday. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.